Now, you and Cal Ripken are probably the only two major leaguers that have played an extended career with the same team. I believe you are in your 17th year. He's in his 18th. Does it seem like a lifetime away since you were tearing up minor league baseball in Walla Walla, Amarillo, the Pacific Coast League?
Yeah, it seems like another life ago. You know, it's you kind of go through those stages of early. You're trying to get a chance to play every day and establish yourself, and then you cruise along for 7, 8 years where you're an everyday player. And your goal is to try to be consistent and try to help your team win. And then towards the end, I feel like I'm towards the end now, and I'm having more fun now than I had earlier in my career. And I think the reason being is because this club, like I said, is a veteran club, but we've got talented people here, and so all of the burden doesn't fall on my shoulders. It's kind of spread about everybody in here, and it makes it a lot easier. It makes it a lot more fun. You come to the park, you work. You get yourself prepared to play. You've got 24 other guys who do it the exact same way. And but I look back, we're getting ready to have a retro night where we, wear the old uniforms and stuff on the 26th, and that's scary because I mean I'm the only guy in here who wore those uniforms, and played in those uniforms, and yeah, you feel older. You feel like you've been around a long time, but as far as the game is concerned, I don't. It's really weird when I'm in a clubhouse or riding on the bus or on the plane. All these guys treat me, with a lot of respect, like guys I treated when I came up, like Pete Rose and Mike Schmidt and Steve Carlton, and they treat you with that kind of respect. But once you get on the field, all of that is gone. You just love what you do, and you try to go out there and have fun and be competitive and try to be consistent. And it's weird. So. At this stage of the game, though, like I said, I'm having a lot more fun. It's a lot easier now. I don't have to really grind it out as much as I used to when I was younger, but it's still fun.
Well, you still look pretty young to me. As far as your average, you're batting a lifetime average in the 340s. You mentioned about doing the same thing every day. The consistency, is that one of the real keys? And what is the challenge of being consistent? How can you do it on a day-by-day, year-by-year basis?
Well, coming into the league, that was my goal, was just to be consistent. I didn't know, where the numbers were going to go. And in my career, I think it's important that you get a routine and you stick with it. And I'd say for the last 13, 14 years, that's exactly what I've done. I've got a routine. I get to the park. I do my video stuff. I do my tee work. And then I go out in the game and I try to execute. And the key to that is all the stuff you want to do in the game, you got to practice before the game. And then when you get in the game, it's about execution. And there are going to be times where you're hitting the ball great and you feel like you don't have to stick with it. But that's exactly the time you should, because when everybody struggles, that's the first thing they do. They go back to the basics. They do the extra work. They do the tee or whatever they do, soft toss. And for me, I do it every day. And I think more than anything else, video and the extra work have been the reason why I've been as consistent as I've been, because I've had a routine. I stuck with it, and I continue to stick with it. Now's the time where I'm struggling. I'm not really struggling. I'm hitting the ball good, but I haven't had a hit in a while. And it's easy to go back and I do what I do every day. So it's regardless if I'm going good or I'm going bad, I have a routine that I can go to, something I have a lot of confidence in, so that every time I go up to the plate, it's not about going up there and trying to get a hit. It's going up there and trying to execute the things that I need to do on a daily basis. And that's why I think I've had the success that I've had. It's not, I think I was blessed with an ability, but more than that, I think it's just the work that I do before the game every day has helped me to stay consistent. Even, I'm 38 now. Even though I'm 38, I still feel like I've been as consistent as I was when I was 28.
Now, in the last 10 to 20 years, there haven't been that many hitters that have hit as high and as consistently as you have in this day of specialization with the closers and seeing almost different pitchers every inning. Is it harder to maintain the high batting average and to hit for average?
I don't think so. I think it's once again, it gets back to the routine. It's not necessarily the guy out there on the hill. A lot of times it's the guy in the batter's box with the bat in his hand, and if he can go up there and do the same type of thing consistently every day, shouldn't matter. Shouldn't matter if it's left-hander, right-hander, hard thrower, soft thrower. If I can go up to the plate and do what I have to do in order to be successful, hitting for a high average today, I don't believe is as difficult now as it was earlier. Earlier on in my career, it was a lot harder. I think it's a lot easier today because with 30 teams, 16 teams in the National League now, I think pitching is a little bit thinner than it was earlier on. And because of specialization, you're seeing a lot more guys in every particular game, but sometimes those guys you see later on aren't as talented as those guys who start. And so that makes it a little bit easier to go up to the plate and execute now. I would say that, but somebody else might say something different. But when you've been around as long as I have, I just think that for me at least, hitting for a high average is not the hard part. Being able to stay consistent is harder than having that one year where you really break out and hit for some really big numbers. But having said that, though, hitting a baseball is still, I think, the toughest thing to do in sport, and there aren't a lot of guys in the National League, at least, who can do it at a really consistent level. And when you do it consistently, you're not surprised. I'm not surprised. I just go out there and just try to execute, and when I execute, I have success, and when I don't, I don't.